Hello, I'm Skulbogi here with your double champion, Will Fleury, ahead of his heavyweight title defense against Martin Buday. How are you doing today?
All good, yeah.
And how has the training been for this camp? I've seen you have split it between Manchester top team and SBG.
Yeah. So I've been over to Manchester twice. I went over late September. Then I was in Vegas for most of October. And since the start of November, I've been back. And I was just back in Manchester last week just to get a few spars in with some of the bigger lads over there. So I've traveled around a good bit for this camp. Um, and it's been cool. I feel like I wish I was able to do this more throughout my career, just to like I've kind of been forced to because there's not many guys Martin size around the place.
Yeah,
But it's been a class experience getting to travel.
exactly. And obviously, Martin was the first heavyweight champion in Octagon. How good would it feel like to be able to knock him out? Because it kind of seems like you've kind of been up against it in Octagon. They gave you Carlos for your light heavyweight championship. They then give you Lazar, and then they've given you Martin now. So it kind of seems like you've got the big guys. It's probably what you wanted, and you're showing everyone your quality.
Yeah, well, look, if you want the opportunity to prove yourself, you're gonna have to take on the best
Yeah,
guys. And I've consistently, I've wanted the best guys. I've been given the best guys. Um, it's interesting. This is the first time it won't be my opponent's home city fighting for a title. So he's from Slovakia. I think he's from Trivana in Slovakia.
yeah.
We'll fight in Prague. Like, I went to Prague to fight Carlos. I went to Stuttgart to fight Tadev. He's Bulgarian, but he's lived in Stuttgart for a long time. So so far I've won both belts as the away guy fighting the favorite in their home city. Um, I'm like this one is obviously a little bit bigger because it's kind of like a large heavyweight. He's 135 odd kilos. The main thing is just the size difference with him. But I feel like the fans in Prague now have a kind of an affinity for me. They know what I'm about, which is cool. I'll get to go back. Like I was booed heavily the last time walking out for the Carlos fight. I think those fans kind of respect what I am at this stage, and they're up for seeing what Will Fleury can do, and they know it's a significant challenge, but like they know I'm damn good. So it's exciting. Like it's exciting to come back to the same place you won the belt, like the light heavyweight title the year before, and get to like put a stamp on your legacy.
Exactly. And it's kind of going to be a bit interesting to see. You went out there first time, you got the booed, you got the cheers, and now you're going to come out there with the crowd on their feet, standing, cheering, and being in your corner this time. Do you feel like
See,
how?
I don't know. Like, we'll see if they do. If they don't, man, well, like, it doesn't bother me too much either way. Like, the boost didn't affect me much last time. They're like, as long as there's a passion and an energy and a level of like acknowledgement for the fact that I'm shit hot, I don't care if they're booing or cheering.
And do you think that kind of what with European MMA is kind of Ottoman's kind of got that market under wraps, and they kind of shown with these MMA events, they've been able to get the crowds in, filling out stadiums. Being it's kind of like a whole event that everyone just comes out to.
Yeah, like they do an incredible job promoting the events. And to be honest, like I've been to a lot of Bellator shows, I've been to a lot of PFL shows, I've been to a good few UFC shows. I've yet to experience anything like the atmosphere at the Octagon shows. And I get to appreciate it more when I'm not fighting at them. Like, so the events that I fight on, they're class, they're the biggest energy that
Yeah,
I fought in the stadium in Frankfurt. The energy in Prague last year was incredible. Stuttgart, not quite the same, to be honest. It wasn't like for the fight we gave them, I thought like could have been a bigger reaction from the crowd. It was still 15,000 people and it was a class event. And I don't want to pretend that I'm like not appreciative of the
yeah.
15,000 people that showed up to watch me fight that night, but like the energy in Prague was incredible. Um, and you have to give Octagon credit for cultivating that and cultivating the fan base that are there for that. But at the same time, if you want those fans to keep coming, you need guys like me who are going to deliver and deliver high level performances consistently. So I've come in and done that, and I can't wait to keep doing it.
Exactly. And after this fight, once you're able to defend that title, what are you wanting next? Because obviously the world will be at your oyster. You've got two defenses at heavyweight, one at light heavyweight. What are you wanting?
I'll be honest, like I want a challenger. I want somebody to come up and really want the belt. Martin's come in and done that. He's a significant challenge. He's 7-1 in the UFC. It's a massive opportunity to lay my mark down and say, look, this is how good I am. Um, After that, it is going to be difficult to get a guy like even right now in light heavyweight, everybody's running away from me.
Yeah,
Like Popic and Vosgröne and all these pussies, they're nowhere to be seen. They're calling me out apparently, but like I'm here. I was ready to fight since September. Alex Popic got offered the fight. Vosgröne I called out several times. Guy just keeps running now. Like both of those guys have moved down weight classes.
yeah,
Honestly, like it's a little bit pathetic, the whole thing. And even the fact that they're being protected just because they're German. In my eyes, it kind of discredits the promotion slightly because it's like, guys, you're more interested in Germans than you are just actually having decent fights. Um, and I think, to be honest, the German audience are going to see that eventually as well. And I feel like this protection kind of plan that they seem to be putting around a couple of these guys, it's actually going to backfire. It's not going to work. But like, okay, do what you want to do. Main thing is I get in a decent challenger, or if not, there's offers. Like I've got options, and like thankfully I've done extremely well in the last couple of years of my
yeah.
career, and yeah, I'm in a place where there are significant options, so it's great.
And you did bring up Freddie. Now, he did have a bit of a dispute with Octagon in the last couple of months. It looks like they resolved it and he's back fighting. But what did you mean? Did you feel like that was actually serious or more kind of like a promotional kind of thing?
No, I think the guy genuinely doesn't have it. Honestly, like in a way, it's kind of sad. Like it should be fairly obvious to anyone who knows anything about the sport. The guy can barely fight. Um, I think he feels that deep down as well. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have the self belief to go and become something better than what he is at the moment. And like, look, he's calling me out, but he's not able to show up to the fights where he's been picked to beat the guy. Like where they've got
Yeah,
a opponent specifically to make him look good. So if you can't show up to those fights, mate, you're pulling out 2 or 3 days before the fight. There's clearly mental issues there, and like, I this is the thing. I nearly feel sorry for him in a way at the moment. It's a weird one, but mate, if you didn't want these fucking problems, don't call me out, like, because I'm gonna keep holding you to that, and
exactly.
especially the fact that like he's not been honest. He's been full of shit all the time, and he like he's putting on this bravado of like, oh, I'll smash you. Oh, is this enough for you, Fleury? And it's like, cool, we can fight. Let's fucking go. I was ready in September. I called you out for October. You said they weren't paying you enough. All right, that's between you and Octagon. But like, do you think that when I got the Carlos fight, I gave a fuck what it said in the paycheck? No, mate. It was the chance to go in and show what it was about. So if you want to prove you're the best guy in Octagon, come and fucking fight me because I'm the number one pound for pound right now. So there's no interest on his behalf to do that. And look, this is what I find to be a little bit sickening about the German mentality. They don't give a fuck about being the best. It's not about the sport. It's about seeming tough and having a fan base. And there's enough fucking German muppets out there for them to do that. And they're like, as long as they fight guys who are shit that make them look good and they can win fights and keep their social media looking pretty, they're not interested in real fighting. They're not interested in martial arts. They're not interested in knowing that they're the toughest bastard out there, which to me is pathetic. Why did you get involved in this sport? Because you wanted to look like a tough guy, was it?
Yeah,
Right. Well, actually be a tough guy. Actually show up. Actually do something. The amount of times I'm like, look, Martin, it's a great example, man. The guy's 30 kilos bigger than me, yeah? Do you think there's no fear in that situation? Of course there is. But what makes me proud of me? I face into that. I know that I'm going to do everything I can do to be as well prepared as I can to go in and smash that guy. That's what makes me like who I am. And like, I feel like, which is why I feel like I'm going to go in there and smash him on December 28th. But even if I don't, I'll go and look myself in the mirror and go, fair fucks you gave it your best. And that's what makes me a fucking man. If I ran away from all of these challenges, what the fuck would I be about? So that's like, look, I know I've spent a lot of time shitting on these guys in this interview, but it is like, that's obviously pathetic to that. But then why are the promotion protecting what that is?
yeah.
It doesn't bode well for this as a sport. So I think it's making the sport a less sustainable thing long term as well. And I think any genuine fan will become a little bit sickened with that. And I've seen this play out with the likes of Bellator before, and even the PFL to a certain extent so far. When you try and feed people stars that people know aren't the guy, it might work short term, but over the space of 2 or 3 years, people see what the reality is, and they start to lose faith in your brand, and your fucking product is diminished then long term. It's hard to get that back. It's hard to like sell people shit, tell them it's gold. They know it's shit. Then you go, oh yeah, but this guy's actually good. They're like, ah, fuck off, I don't care. So I'm a little bit concerned about the way things are going with them. They're doing this spicy Paha versus fucking Raska fight. It's on the main card in Octagon, and they're promoting that more than they're promoting me in the heavyweight title. It's fucking odd. I don't see it being like something that's actually gonna be conducive to being a successful promotion long term. But they've done a lot of really, really good shit so far, and they're in a really good position. They're already Europe's number one promotion. I'm just very concerned about the way things are going.
And with you and Buddy, you are being able to have that. You got a dance partner to be able to chat stuff to. You're saying you'll finish him within three rounds. He's saying he's going to outbox you. Do you kind of see that kind of? Obviously, you're not going to give it your whole game plan just now, but are you wanting to try to get that knockout just to prove that you can outbox him in those 3 rounds?
Yeah. Look, I have 5 rounds to finish him, but I
Yeah,
feel like I can finish him in three. Um, it's up to Martin to a degree. Like I've seen in his last two fights, he's tried to come at the guy early. If he does that with me, I don't think the fight will last too long at all. If he tries to play it a bit more tactical and suck it in, like, make me go, wear him out, things will last a little bit longer. But I've been so sharp and so explosive throughout this camp, and like the tools that I've again honed in on against him, to use against him, I
yeah.
feel like I've been extremely effective with the guys that I've been training with. And look, I'm excited to go in there and see how things work.
And obviously, as fighters, you do have to do the sacrifices. And you have done one for this fight. Have you kind of moved your Christmas until just after the fight? Because it is December 28th. You can't go in on December 25th, have that turkey, have that stuffing. You can't just have the full Christmas meal. Is that December
The heavyweight
29th?
fight, man. So I'm gonna have me a good Christmas dinner. At this time last year, it was the Carlos fight. It was light heavyweight. So I think I had like 3 slices of turkey and some Brussels sprouts. But this, look, it's 3 days before the fight, man. Like a good meal won't hurt anything at all. So thank God it's heavyweight. It makes things a lot easier. You're talking about sacrifice. Like some of the training's been pretty hard. I've been
Yeah.
racked like a lot of the time. You're just knackered sometimes, but like I've really enjoyed the process of preparing for this fight. The purpose around it and the sense of like buzz that you get from being involved in something this big and like having the chance to really go in and put a stamp on your legacy. It's a privilege. And I really don't feel like I've sacrificed a lot to be in this position in the first place. But the last, 10, 12 weeks hasn't felt like a sacrifice. It really hasn't. Like I love everything I'm doing right now. I'm privileged to get to live this life, I feel.
And obviously, we just recently had a UFC heavyweight title fight between Aspinall and Gane. That ended controversially. It seems like a lot of fans are siding against Aspinall, even though he was the one that got fouled. But what is your take on the situation?
Well, it's a tough one. Like, look, first of all, an eye poke's a pretty serious thing. Like, anybody who's ever been badly poked in the eye, because I've had a few that have been grand. Like,
Yeah,
I've had a few in fights that thank God were never that serious. But I've had some in training where like I couldn't see for the rest of the day. I had my cornea torn off there only about a year ago. So it was like 5 or 6 days of like the cornea having to repair itself and could barely see. I could see, but it's very painful to look through that eye. So I just had an eye patch on for most of that time. Um, like I'm not doubting Tom. Like Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight fighter in the world right now. So everything I should say should be prefaced with that. Do I think, in my eyes, looking at the poke and the way it happened, his eyes were closed as the fingers went in? Am I a little bit like you could have continued? Yeah, he probably could have. Should he have? Maybe not. Maybe like for his career, the way that fight was going, everything around that, he made the best decision for him at that moment. He's kind of earned that. And the guy did poke him in the eye at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So like, and I don't know the reality. Maybe his eye is wrecked. Like nobody like this thing. The only person who really knows that is Tom Aspinall. So even the doctor who's in there in the cage with him doesn't know what he's seeing, doesn't know how bad his eye feels. So I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt with what he's done so far in his career.
And what do
Let's
you?
see what he comes back and does in the next performance. Is like, and here's the other side of it. Gane was fighting really well in that fight,
Yeah.
but he's been an incredibly dirty fighter throughout his career. So it's kind of like, well, Aspinall has earned this level of credit by being shit hot. And Gane, you've been a dirty bastard for most of your career. So even though this one probably was a bit sketchy and guy maybe could have fought on, you're being punished for being a dirty bastard your whole career and you're missing out on that belt and that title chance now. Grand. It should be an immediate rematch. So cool. Let's run it back and see who wins. And well, I was really disappointed on the day because it was like I was really pumped for that fight. And I was over in Johnny's house in Vegas watching it and like it was kind of like we were gonna go watch that and then train. It was just a shit pause afterwards of like, oh, you kind of feel like you've been cheated, like but at the same time, it does make the next fight quite exciting. So um, it's a it's a bizarre situation. It's shit that happened, but we'll get to see hopefully what's going to happen next. You know,
What do you make of Dana White just adding fuel to the fire and going in press conferences? Oh, he was just looking for a way out.
did he say that?
Yeah, it's like he was like looking to find a way to quit.
He said that about Aspinall.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't see that, but yeah, that's pretty ridiculous to be honest. Because like, I saw John Jones coming out with a load of shit afterwards. And it's like, mate, you ran away from this fight, so you should just shut the fuck up. Like, um, but yeah, like that's a bit silly. It's a bit disappointing. And why would you shit on your own heavyweight champion as well? And I think with what Tom's done, he's earned the credit. He's earned the you know, he's been there wanting to fight John Jones for a long time.
yeah.
So you're now saying that guy's looking for a way out. Like, nah, look, I'm not going to go into it. Yeah, that's as a promoter, it's probably not a smart thing to do.
And it does look like just now Ireland is in a great place in terms of MMA. It was just announced recently that Cage Warriors 200 is becoming in Dublin. How big is that just showing the recognition of how good you guys are coming up in the grassroots? You have Keith Kinnock, you've got Alexander O'Sullivan, you've just got a lot of Solomon Simon just coming the Cage Warriors champion. You've got a lot of good prospects coming through the ranks now.
Tons, and this thing, I think for the level of talent we have, the scene actually isn't as big as it could be. And I'm delighted the likes of Cage Warriors are coming over. They've been regularly in, like this, their third show in Dublin in the last year
Yeah,
and a half. It's class. That's brilliant. And the scene needs that. We need higher level promotions coming over here. Like it's been a while since we've had like PFL came in 2023, and we haven't had a big three arena show since then, really at all. Um, like you have Dara Kelly, you have Kieran Clark, both undefeated guys, both done their whole career in Bellator and the PFL. There's very little hype around those guys considering how good they are and how successful they've been and some of the guys who they've beat. It's a funny scene. There's a lot of talent, but there's not really a platform for that talent. I feel very lucky with the fact that I'm out there in Octagon at the moment. And like, I know what I'm doing is massive in Ireland, but like over there, I have the opportunity to go, hey, look, I'm shit hot at this.
yeah.
And I get recognition for being this good. I feel like some of the young lads coming up in Ireland now, they're very, very good. And it's going to be very hard for them to get recognized as being as good as they are. And even like, you look at a guy like Ian Gary, who's, essentially next in line for the title shot in the UFC, and yet, doesn't have a ton of support in Ireland. We've Paul Hughes as well, who's been doing incredibly well. In my eyes, beat Usman in that first fight. Beat AJ McKee, who was considered one of the best featherweights in the world. Um, it's a funny scene right now. MMA is in a funny place in Ireland because it is like there's some really positive things happening the level, the skill, like some of the guys that the country's producing, I think we're in a great place. I just don't know if the fan base is there, and I don't know if there's a platform to get that fan base there. And even in terms of media here, we have a couple of smaller Irish MMA outlets who are covering the sport. None of the mainstream media covers the sport in Ireland, really. Like when I go over to Czech Republic, like it's massive over there. I get recognized on the street constantly. It's very different to here. And you feel like there's a whole infrastructure built around the sport. Like all of the main sports journals, all of the main sports websites, all of the reputable things cover the sport over there. MMA is big. It's one of their sports. Here, it's a little bit like, oh, it's well known, but there's no real interest in the grassroots scene, like from the mainstream public. Um, and I don't feel like there's a hunger for that right now. But if it became like there needs to be a slight cultural shift a little bit. And also I kind of think it's on the sport, like on the athletes themselves. Like, you know, I've just been trying to represent Will Fleury and represent what I
Yeah.
am. But in a way, you nearly feel a duty to represent the sport well in the country and to kind of change perception of what this thing actually is about. And look, I've gone and had a positive steroid test and other shit. And like, I know that I'm not exactly a role model, but some of the young lads coming up, the likes of Kieran Clark, the likes of Derek Kelly, they're great men. And I'd love for the mainstream media to get involved in their careers. And I'd love for them to be able to make this something in this country and to be able to inspire other young lads in the country to be, better. Because that's what this sport gives you an opportunity to do to better yourself. Like, um, I don't know how that's going to happen, but I think we're in a place where we could do like Irish athletes in MMA could go and do really big things. And look, I'm sure I've gone and done it a bit, to be honest, which is great. But like, I feel like in the next couple of years, there'll be opportunities for guys to actually achieve things. And I just hope that there's the infrastructure there to create the support base that they'll need to get those opportunities. Because I know myself, if I had a massive fan base here, Octagon would be doing shows in Ireland, right? I don't, and that's not something I'm going to start cribbing about. But like, there's a bit of like the next young lad could be in a way better place to earn a shitload of money when they get to this, as long as there's a fan base. Um, and I hope to God that they do get that opportunity because like I've put 15 years of my life into this thing, and I kind of feel like I'm very lucky with some of the things that have happened outside of the cage that it's not going to be that big a deal that I haven't made a ton of money doing this financially. I've done all right. I've been able to support myself through the sport and all that, and overall, it's been great. Like, I've loved it. But if I was just to only have the money that I have from fighting, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
Thank God I have other things going on in my life.
And how big is it, like what you're saying, if you just thought you'd be screwed? How big is sponsorships in being able to help you bridge that gap into?
Huge. But like, I'm only sponsored by Czech companies. Sorry, I've performed nutrition in Ireland. I've a guy, Flow Recovery as well, and I've a chiropractor here, but it's like free product. The only actual cash I get is from the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, and like I'm sponsored by Fandom as well, and yeah,
yeah.
they're an Austrian company, I think.
And after this fight, after you get the win, after you get that knockout in that within 3 rounds, what are you doing to celebrate?
I have a friend's wedding the next day, actually. So it's gonna be a rough 24 hours. So I'll be on the beer that night, obviously. And I think I fly at 11 the next morning. And then I'm supposed to land at about 1:30. And yeah, I think the service is at 3, so I probably won't make the service. But like I suited and booted, and I'll be at the reception that evening. So yeah, I have a wedding to go to the next day, so that'll be part of the celebration anyway.
So hopefully you can keep your face nice and cut free for the photos.
Yeah, yeah, we'll try. I'll do my best, but I'm sure Martin has other plans.
Well, it was great having you on today, and we can't wait to see you
Thanks, man.
defend that title. Is there anything you want to add or anyone you want to shout out?
Just everybody who's helped me to prepare for this fight, a lot of different people. Um, Loads of like, I had Marty Byfield over from Birmingham to help me train for a week as well. Really appreciate a guy like him coming over. Huge man, big heavyweight guy. Uh, yeah, it's been a great camp, and I just want to thank everybody who was part of it and everybody who invested time and effort and energy in me over the years. Um, there's too many guys to name, to be honest, but like I'd just like for all those people to know that I appreciate the fuck out of their time and effort and energy.
Well, make sure you guys tune in to Octagon 81, where you can see Will defend that title and be able to get that knockout within the first 3 rounds. Thank you so much for coming on,
Thanks,
and
Scott.
can't wait to see you defend that belt.
Thank you, man.